Okay. Nancy, how did you originally come to our practice? What were you interested in seeking help
Well,
for?
I have a daughter and a son, and my daughter in particular was begging for a pet, for a dog in particular, since she was a little girl. And my husband was very gung-ho on it as well. I was open to it, but knowing that I was very allergic, I was very reluctant to get involved with shots and any kind of ongoing medical treatment. So I, pushed them back and held off as long as I could. And then just really at some point they just pushed and pushed and pushed, and my husband did some research on the internet and came up with this wonderful therapy that didn't involve shots. So I was open to that, and then we had our initial consultation.
Right, and we found, I know we had a big discussion because we did find that you were allergic to the dog on allergy testing through the blood. And we had a big decision to make because you wanted to stay healthy, you have to take care of your kids, but you knew the upside of getting a pet in the home, especially a dog, the kids that you said wanted to play with.
Yeah.
So when I remember we started the treatment, did you feel better right away from the drops?
Well, what happened was, actually, I had been on the drops. I was very conservative, and I wanted to be on them for the maximum amount of time that you recommended prior to getting the dog.
Right.
So I think it was a
That's
year,
right. Yeah,
do you remember?
6 months
something.
or a year.
It was
yes.
a long period of time, and then right before we got the dog, I had just, by happenstance, I was exposed to another dog.
Right.
I think I went over to a friend's house, and I had a severe reaction after, well, what I imagined was severe at the time. It was my next door neighbor's house, and I almost chickened out, and I remember calling you in a panic, and you really amped up the dosage,
on the
and you
drops.
also gave me some over-the-counter medications,
Right.
and so I went forward, and when I got the dog initially, I think I was pleasantly surprised that I did better. I think the next door neighbor's dog was probably a much more problematic breed, perhaps, but I was still very cautious, and the first 6 months were bumpy, but I don't know if you remember some calling you on
I do.
after
You
hours,
get nervous,
and
sure.
I was nervous, but
Right.
you got me through all those bumps, and we used some over-the-counter medications, and they were very effective.
Right.
So that was I was very optimistic about it, and I just kept going with it, and we kept tweaking as we went, and that was the first 6 months was bumpy, I would say. The second 6 months was much better,
Right.
but I was still somewhat keeping my distance and limiting my exposure, I would say. Like if I was around the dog in close proximity, I would start to feel a little bit allergic, and I would immediately
Right.
go upstairs.
Right.
And we also, what we did is we didn't allow the dog up to the second level.
Right.
So if I was ever feeling allergic, I would just escape up there.
Right.
And within a number of hours, I would be much better. So that was the first year, and then this last year, I have to say, has been really remarkable. I'm able to snuggle with her, to cuddle with her, even to sleep overnight.
Oh, wow.
On occasion, and it just feels like a whole different ballgame.
And it's brought some joy and happiness into your life and your kids'
So
life.
much so.
Yeah.
So much so. I can't quantify that. I mean, that
Yeah.
is just, it's changed all of our lives so much for the best. And, and taking the drops has been so minimal.
It's easy to do.
It becomes part of your routine. And we tweaked it. And so I do 2 drops in the morning and 2 drops at night. It's just part of my routine.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Excellent.
It's wonderful.
Excellent.
So
Well, this
I'm
is
glad you
definitely
had
definitely a success
happy
story.
customer. Yes.